Hello, hello, and welcome to the Beyonding podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Myra Capri, of course, joined by the amazing Kylie Carr. And we are here today. We know we're supposed to be here to have a conversation. Kylie and I were just talking just a minute ago, and we had lots of ideas of topics, y'all. And what we settled on in this present moment is let's just have a conversation. There's so many things swirling around. And I think if we're present, and we'll probably talk about presence, but if we're present now in this moment, what needs to come up will come up. We're sure of that. So, Kylie, how are you feeling today?
Ooh, in this moment, I'm feeling what you just said, present.
Hmm.
I'm feeling present and here. Yeah.
Mhm.
What about you, Myra?
I am too. I am feeling very grounded, very settled. I was just reflecting today on the gratitude that I have for just this life I get to live. I think sometimes we measure our lives by things that, we think we're supposed to have or how we thought it was going to look by a certain age, like all of these things that we measure our life by. And when I just took a moment today to just reflect on my life and where it is now, I'm so grateful for the small things. Like I got to take a bike ride today in the middle of a day on a Wednesday and enjoy being outside, enjoy being in nature. And it was just so peaceful. And I am grateful that I'm able to do that. I think sometimes, and even in this work we do, we may take things for granted. We may take things for granted. I'm surrounded by a community of people who I believe elevate at a high frequency, have, very, very conscious, and we can talk about consciousness too. But I feel like I am surrounded by a community of very conscious individuals. And sometimes the conversations I get to be a part of, I may take for granted. And I'm being reminded in this moment, in many recent moments, that our voice matters, what we have to say matters, sharing what comes up for us in conversations or even just in still moments all matter because a lot of times what's given to us is not just for us, it's for others.
Yes.
So I'm sharing, I'm being more vocal about that. I'm sharing when I have gratitude for a simple thing in life or when something comes to me and I feel like I'm supposed to tell people, like I'm doing that a lot more now.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And, I it's easy to take for granted this life that we live, like, and when I say we, I mean we do have an amazing community of individuals who are, like you said, vibrating higher. And I mean, y'all, if you could listen to the conversations, the Voxers, the voice memos, the team meetings that we have, and what comes up, not planned,
Mm-mm.
it's just not everybody has that.
Mm.
And I am so grateful too, and I feel a sense of responsibility even with this
Mhm.
podcast for us to share these things because it's I feel like, and I have felt for quite some time now that I bet many of us in our circle would feel this, would relate to this, but I've been feeling like I've been prepared for this moment.
Mm. Mm. How would you
And I
describe this moment?
Yeah. This moment is one that is fraught. It is on paper. if you look at the news, which, oh, by the way, I haven't really watched the news much since November, but,
Same.
even even what I'm seeing on social media and headlines and all of that, you would see the chaos. You
Mm,
would see the disruption. You would see the volatility. You would see the anger, the
mm,
heightened emotions, the disapproval of things, the I can't believe that we're here things, the we knew this would happen,
mm,
energy. And I'm reminded of 2020. And during that time, I felt similarly. Like I felt like, "Oh, I've been trained for this." And but
mm.
what I didn't realize was that was training for this. And
Ooh.
so to answer your question, what I mean by that is, you know, this I have been really privileged to have access and to have been introduced to practices that are healing
Mm,
practices and ways of being that allow me to be a better human that I share with others through, this work that we do through coaching, through leadership development and
mm,
facilitation and supporting people to help them be better, but that's all because I have, for whatever reason, through podcast episodes and my YouTube feed and,
mm,
conversations with others, I've learned tools that have been so restorative, so
mhm,
restorative. And so, working with people, implementing these or leveraging these tools, saying yes to my intuition and focusing on my healing and my development and my growth makes me see that, oh, okay, like coach put me in. Like, God, all
mhm,
right, you've been preparing me. Okay, coach, put me in. Like, let's
mhm.
go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah. And it's been such a big shift that I've seen in this awareness, like you and I even talked about just awareness in general, heightened awareness, if you will, and
Mhm.
how sometimes heightened awareness, when it's leaning more toward negativity, it it shows up or manifests as anxiety. Um,
Yeah.
but a heightened awareness in a place of positivity and groundedness can be clarity, right? And so I think a lot of what we have exposure to is just this clarity, this groundedness, which I really believe is what is holding or keeping us in this steady foundation when there's so much chaos and noise in the world, but being grounded in consciousness, being grounded in a heightened awareness around truth,
Yeah.
around what is, around just the ideas that we circulate that really is truly around truth, I think keep us grounded. I've seen a shift even in people putting more weight into mental health. Like a time before, you could talk about mental health and people really didn't lean into that as much, especially
Yes.
when you talk about therapy or counseling, even coaching, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and you're seeing more conversations around mental health and people putting, I think, more weight into the importance of mental health. You're seeing it in corporate
Yes.
spaces. Like,
Yes.
we've experienced and seen how there's a shift even in corporate spaces. People are talking about things that they did not talk about before.
No.
They're open to ideas and conversations that they were not open to before because of this shift that we're seeing and the importance of just being grounded, so when these troubling times come, we have something to stand on.
Yes. The image that I'm being reminded of is the eye of the storm.
Mm,
And this is an image that came to me back in 2020 as well. When things are chaotic around us, when things are swirling, it's really easy to get caught up in the storm.
mm,
But the eye of the storm is calm,
mm,
it is steady, it is present. So, going back to when we
mm,
started our conversation and we were both talking about being present and grounded, presence, I believe, is the antidote for everything. It's like,
mm,
okay, you're feeling anxious, okay, get present. You're
mm,
feeling, worried, okay, get present. You're
mm.
feeling uncertain or um off kilter a bit, okay, get present.
So you
You're
gotta tell us
feeling yes.
what does that mean? So get present.
Yeah,
How does that
yes.
look? What does that mean?
So a really simple way to come back to presence is to listen to your breath go in and out. Just
Mm,
close your eyes and listen to the inhale and the exhale.
mm,
That's it. It's not a big to do. It's just being here now.
mhm.
Being here now because nothing exists except this moment.
Yes.
Everything that happened before this moment is a memory.
Mhm.
Everything that happens in after this moment is imagined or a dream, a hope, a
Imagination,
belief,
yeah.
imagination. But all
Mm,
that really exists is here. What's happening here and now in this moment.
mm,
And the more that we can come back to center, come back to our breath, the more we can have the clarity
mm.
of what's needed next.
That's
I
so
heard yesterday, I was listening to something came across my YouTube feed, and I was listening to this couple. I don't even know where in the world they're from, but they were talking
Uh-huh.
about everything that was happening and like this new moon that happens to be on the day that we are, or full moon that's happening the day that we're recording this on June
Yeah.
11th. And, also energetically what's happening. So I was listening, and what they were talking about was that when there is a home renovation, there's chaos. There's,
Mhm.
everything is all over the place. It's
Mm,
unruly. You can't make sense of it. It's disorganized. It feels unstable and chaotic.
mhm.
But what's on the other side of it is so worth it. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's where we are right now. Like
Mm.
things are being dismantled. Things are like, there is chaos, y'all. There is a
Yes.
lot of chaos, but
In
we
LA
don't
right
have
now?
to. In LA right now,
Ooh,
it's
yeah,
chaos.
yeah.
It's manufactured chaos too.
Isn't it? Mm,
But
mm.
the more we can be present, the more we can not get caught up. And and this is the last thing I'll say, and
Mhm.
definitely want to hear what's coming up for you, Myra. I saw again, I don't watch the news, but I was watching, I think it was the Daily Show. I was watching
Uh-huh.
some clips from there, and they were showing some clips from LA, and
Mhm.
and how there were protesters out with big bubbles, blowing bubbles at the National Guard.
Oh my
Because
god.
yes, it was incredible. It was incredible
So
because it's like we know
appropriate.
what's happening, right?
So
And when we're
appropriate.
when we're present, we can see what's happening. It's like, okay, I know what you
That.
want us to do, but you know what we're gonna do instead? We're gonna blow you some bubbles. Arrest me.
Arrest me. I love that. Uh,
Yeah.
so many things. I mean, the idea of the breath, like just pausing long enough to take a breath, Kylie. And they say breath is spirit. Like the air we
Yes.
breathe, the breath that comes in and out of our lungs is spirit. That's what gives us life. And sometimes we literally go through life holding our breath. We are
Literally.
taking yes, we're taking shallow breaths, we're not breathing deeply, and this is what I've learned from swimming, learning to swim as an adult. Kylie, it is all about breathing, all about
Wow.
breathing.
Wow.
Everything I've learned about swimming is really about my breath. And when I breathe deeply and I'm relaxed, I float, I swim, I'm calm. And typically, what happens is I get tense in deep water. Like I'm learning to swim, I'm doing all the things, all the techniques and everything, fine. But when my mind realizes I'm in deep water, my breath gets shallow. And then I start to have issues. But the
Mm.
moment I come back to my breath and it's calm, I float with no issue, like there's no problem. And it's all about my breath. When I'm treading water, when I'm calm, when I breathe and my heart rate is at a calm state, I tread so easy, like I have no issues treading water. All of this is about how we're present in the moment, how we're aware of our breath and we're breathing and we allow ourselves to calm down. And when we're calm, at least when I'm calm, I'm pretty sure this is probably true for others, the clarity I receive,
Yes.
the clarity, how I can
Yes.
clearly, how I can hear clearly, how I can filter through the noise, how I can know when something is important to respond to and something else is just like, let that go. It is powerful.
That right there, Myra, that right there is a message that we all need to, like, if you didn't hear that, if you missed that, rewind, because I believe, like, that's where we are. Like, when I think about what do we need to manage this moment? What do we need to be well
Mm,
despite the chaos? We talked about, presence and breath, and a part of it, as you just said, is it allows us to get clear.
mm,
And what I know to be true about every person who is drawn to beyonding is that there is a level of intuition that they have, a knowing that they have, a connection with spirit that they have
yeah.
that is not like common folk.
Mm,
And even those who don't think they have it, they do.
yeah.
And this is a moment where we may have to shift. We may have to change plans and
Mm,
move differently or
yes.
quickly. And in order to be able to make quick, swift decisions, whether it's personally or even professionally, because I know, a lot of us have big jobs, right? And we're going to have to make decisions that impact other people. We can only do that when we're present. We can only do that when we're tapped into our intuition and when we have
Mm.
the capacity to receive the clarity, to receive the downloads that will guide our path.
Whew. It's so true. That is a word in itself too, Kylie, because I think what happens is we ignore the urgency of the moment, right?
Mm,
Like, "Oh, I can
yes.
wait," or "Let me put that off." And like you said, if you're listening to this, first of all, if you're listening, there's a reason you're listening and you're hearing this message. But it's also a cause to be still long enough. And there's a podcast before this called "The Urgency to Slow Down." And it is
Mhm.
urgent to slow down so that you can hear, but it doesn't mean to stop. And it's not an invitation to not be active and responsive because this is the time for that. But it is an invitation to slow down long enough to get the clarity of the direction and then move. It's not
Yes.
saying don't move because you're right. This moment is urgent. And if you're wondering, should I do this thing that's been calling you, pulling at your heartstrings, like this thing that you know is a part of your calling, a conviction even, this is for you. This is for you to respond. This is the call. If
This
you're
is
waiting or
the
listening for
call.
this is the call. This is it. Kylie, what you did, which I appreciate, is you had left a Voxer for a group of us, and it was what I loved about it was you didn't hesitate when you heard a message, you didn't hesitate to share it in that moment. Now, whatever happens with that is what's supposed to happen. Some people will grab it, some people will get different things out of it, but it was the example of how we should move when we get the word, right? Like, don't
Mm.
hold on to it, don't hesitate, don't try to figure it out too. I think that's a lot of what we do. Like,
Ooh.
I need to figure out like what this should look like. What are the next steps? Let me perfect it before I move on it. And I read a quote on Instagram, and I'm gonna mess the quote up, so I won't even try. But basically, the concept was when you move, the clarity will come.
Mm.
Move first, clarity comes next. So you may not have
Mm.
all of the answers, and it's that same idea of like motion lights. When you take the first step, then the light it turns on.
That's right.
So
That is
this is
right.
listen, if you're listening for an invitation or you're stuck somewhere, you're not sure what you're hearing, whether you should move now, yes is the answer.
Yes is the answer.
Now, you should
Yes.
move now. Do the thing, say the
Do the
thing,
thing.
show up. This is
Yes.
it. This is the call. It is
Yes,
there's no more
yes.
time to wait for us to hesitate and to hold and try to make it right and perfect it. That we don't have time for that. We don't
No,
have
and
time for
thank you for that too, because I'm usually good when I get the downloads to let people know when
Mhm.
it happens, but there was one message that I got on Sunday that I did not share with somebody, and I
Mm.
felt like you saying that was a reminder like,
Mm.
no, you got
Mhm.
a message and you still haven't shared that message. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome,
that.
and I'm curious too, I'm putting you on the spot, Kylie. What are
Mhm.
some of the reasons why you hesitate to share a message when you know you are
Mm.
hearing clearly that you should share it? Like, I'm curious.
Convenience and fear. Well, it's really fear.
Mm,
It's always
mm.
fear. It's always fear. It may
Say
come
more.
up. Yes. So in this circumstance, I heard something about, or I got a download about somebody, and I
Mm,
was in a place where that somebody was.
okay.
And I thought, well, if I happen to run into that person, then I'll let them know.
We're
And
conditioning, right, I've
yes,
been
yes,
there.
and it and if I happen to run into them and it's convenient for me to tell them, like somebody else isn't talking to them, then I'll let them know.
And if they look
Eh
me in the eye and turn to the left and walk toward
Toward
me,
me and walk
then
toward me.
and say, "Kylie, do you have a message for me?"
Yes, then I will let them know. And so, in this particular
Ah,
case,
mm,
that didn't happen. I did see said person,
mhm.
but that person was talking to somebody else, and I decided, "You know what?
It was
Yeah,
convenient not to.
it was convenient
It
not
was
to." And
convenient
in
not
this
to.
particular case, it was it wasn't a message that I really wanted to share.
That part.
That part. Now, there have been other messages in the past where I feel convicted, where I can't not say it.
Mm,
And when I look back on those circumstances, I didn't have any attachment or judgment on those messages. It was like, I don't know, I'm just the messenger, right? But in
mhm.
this case, I was like, "Ooh, that's a heavy one."
What will they think?
So,
How will they react?
yes, how will
Will
they
they
react?
receive it?
Yes. Will they
Will
be
we
mad
still
at
be
me
friends
because I
afterward,
said it?
right?
Is it right? Like, am I saying something that isn't gonna come
Yeah.
true even though God has shown me time and time again?
That's the part I mean, it's not for us to figure out. We are out
Yes.
here figuring stuff out that we're
Yes.
not supposed to figure
It's
out.
not meant for us to figure out. That's not even ours.
No. Say the thing. And, I got
Say
that
the
from
thing.
Lovey. Imma shout out to Lovey, Ajayi Jones. I had a download, which it's funny, I had the download for quite some time before I shared it with her. I actually shared it with you before I shared it with Lovey, who I was supposed to share it with. So it's like, let me test this thing out first.
We do
Like, we
that. Let me
do.
test
Imma
this
test it.
out
Let me
on somebody
see.
else. Let me see what they say about it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I shared it with her, and I gave all of the pre-qualifiers before I actually just said it, right? It was like it probably ended up being a 5-minute message that could have been 1 minute, but I had 4 minutes of let me set this up because I don't know how this person might receive a message that wasn't from me, it was from God
Mhm,
and
mhm.
source, and I'm supposed to share it. And after I said the message, she was like, "Yeah, you should say that, like, just say the thing." It was, like, it was so easy, it was received, and then the follow-up was like, "Don't hesitate anymore, don't do that. Say the thing.
Mm,
Just say the thing,
mm.
even if it's uncomfortable." There's a John Mayer song that I love, he's like, "Say what you need to say, even if your hands are
Say what
shaking.
you Ooh,
Even if your hands are shaking, say
wow.
what you need to say, and then be done." It's not yours anyway. Matter of fact, you might be a little lighter because you no longer have to carry it.
Girl, tell me about it.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. Well, one thing you were talking about earlier, Myra, was this idea of if there is something that has been calling you toward it, if you have been convicted about something, or maybe you've been caught up into chaos, right?
Mm,
Then, there is something here
mm,
for them to really listen to and lean into. And I know that before this month, and we're recording this in June of 2025, before this month is over, we are going to have a check-in of sorts, a
mm,
convening
mhm.
of beyonding our beyonding community
Yes.
to connect in this, midpoint of the year. So, what can people expect for that?
It's so timely, and again, Kylie, thank you for your obedience when you hear it and you say, "Let's do it." And the details will come together, but you spoke it because you received it. So, and I admire that about you, and I honor that, like, that is something that I'm working on. So when I see it show up in you, I'm always like, "Yes, I'm
Thank
gonna do
you.
that too." So you brought it up, and I really think the vision is just around bringing community together, reminding community that we are not alone. We don't have to carry anything alone. There are some things that we probably shouldn't be carrying, right? And how do we come back and reset ourselves? Maybe there's goals we had at the beginning of the year. Maybe there are things that we need support with. Maybe we just need a moment to slow down, right?
Yes.
And this connection, and we'll have the name when we share it, the name will come. But this connection of community that we're convening, here in a little bit will really be around coming together, having space to share, to reflect, to ask for support, say, "Hey, I need help with this thing." Um, and to be present. And I think that is what this time is calling for, especially those that have maybe felt things have been heavy recently. We'll have space for
Yeah.
all of that.
We are not meant to do this life alone, right?
Mm-mm.
We are not
Mm-mm.
meant to navigate this alone, and I am so looking forward to connecting with this community. we are in episode 8, I believe, of the
Yeah.
Beyonding podcast, and I know that there have been many of you listening who maybe you just discovered it. Maybe you were a part of the Beyonding community. Maybe you were a part of a Beyonding retreat, or maybe you just happened upon Myra's social media, my social media, or Beyondings. And regardless, if you are here, we know that we are meant to be here together for this moment for a purpose.
Mm,
So, this session is going to take place on June 26th.
mhm,
And it will take place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
mhm,
And we have a link for you to register. And this is free, this is open, but we do want to register so we know how many people that we're expecting and all of that good stuff. And it's virtual. So this is happening on Zoom on June 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can find the link to the registration wherever you're listening to the podcast, or even if you're watching on YouTube, the link will be there. And at least it'll be active until the 26th. If you're watching this or listening after that, sorry you missed it, but hopefully there will be more for sure. One of the
mhm,
things that we are going to share as a little teaser is something, a game changing tool that Myra and I have implemented, have been using, have been leveraging over the past couple of weeks, that when I tell you has changed everything in
mm,
how I approach my
mm,
days, my what I do, how I do it, how I operate, my ways of being. It's
mm.
ooh, I can't wait for us to share that with everybody.
I'm super, super excited about that, as well as you talked about presence earlier and how to be present. That's going to come up again, and we'll have some tools and techniques for you to understand presence more deeply and how you can come back to present in any moment. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I feel like people will walk away with tools and resources, with reconnections and community, and really feel full and
Yeah.
activated, honestly.
And activated,
Yeah,
activated and
and
aligned.
aligned. Maybe that's
Yes,
the
we're
title. We'll
yes,
see.
yes. We'll see, we'll
We'll see.
see, we'll see. Whatever it is supposed to be, and we'll be ready. We will
Yeah.
be ready because this is a season where we can't, like, drag our feet on getting ready. We need to stay ready. And so
Mhm.
this is ready season, and it's not
Ready
in
season.
a, overactivity, try hard, hustle and grind type get ready. No,
Mhm.
it is mind, body, spirit. It
Yes.
is getting
Presence.
grounded in presence and connected with people who are going, your village, who are
Yeah.
going to help support you through this as well.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. It's
That's
present
it.
and ready.
Yes. This is Beyonding.
This is beyonding. I enjoyed this, Kylie, so
Me
much. Conversation
too.
sometimes is what we just need, just a little banter.
Yeah, yeah, this was good, so good.
Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you, Myra, and thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. Be well.
Be well.